that's awkward. Er, There we go. Perfect. Yo, what's good, gamers? What's good? My name is Dr. Ryan Psych Sensei, and welcome to the short stream today. As you can tell, I might have gotten to a small little coma, and my hair is still recovering from the bed, but we're here. I said I was going to stream 2 times a week, and I'm fulfilling that stream, baby. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about parenting and the effects of parenting on esports and how parents can help their kids, or do they help their kids, or what's the effect on parenting and performance or whatever. I don't know. We're going to read about it. So I guess this is Ryan Reads. Welcome back, baby. As always, my name is Dr. Ryan Psych Sensei, and if you're interested in what I do or would like to work with me, if you're a parent to help your kid, or if you are a player and want to work better as a player or whatever, please visit my website, psychsensei.com. There you can visit my free consultation form. Fill that out, and you and I can sit down and figure out your win condition, what's kind of going on, how you want to get better, and start making plans to do that today. Yeah, also, if you're there, please make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. You name the social media, I probably have it. But there you can find all the resources and follow those things. Jump in my Discord, and we can actually start talking if you want to. But yeah, I hope everyone's having a chill Friday. I have to also be conscious of time because I need to go to a client meeting at 7. So let's just get this bad boy on the road, shall we? Honey. Pour ba. Hold, please. All right, it was working for a hot second. Let's figure this out. I'm telling you, man, technology, bro. It's great, and then it doesn't work. All right, we back. All right, so this article is entitled "Parental Support in Esports Through the Lens of Theory of Planned Behavior." This comes from Stevenson, Totter and Lace, or Lace and then Totter. This is coming from 2024. It's pretty recent, last year. I believe it's out of Germany, Chile, and United States. Or edited. We're looking at, Sweden, Germany, Sweden. Nice. Okay. Electronic sport, esport has grown substantially in popularity and market value over the last decade. Research recognized the potential of esports to attract young people, for example, and cultivate a healthy lifestyle. Esports may be a new, effective way to reach the approximate 20% of youth who are not engaged in the performance environments of traditional sports, and lead to many positive developmental outcomes. For instance, esports programs have been effective at improving social-emotional communication skills, leading to better social relationships outside the esports club. I mean, I would agree. At the same time, I think I would also say that, like, I don't know if it's a generational thing. I don't know if it was because of COVID, but I feel like communication skills in general have gone down. And I think esports is greatly affected because, unlike traditional sports where there might be natural laws of consequences for non-communication, or you might get jacked up or hit or stuck or something, on the field for not communicating, in esports, you don't get that same, like, tactile feedback, I would say. Social emotion, community. Okay. Nice. We will love that. Grassroots esports may also be an effective context to promote physical activity among youth. I mean, that's super easy. You can definitely just, like, tell the kids to run a lap before they play or after, Especially when aligned with a creative emphasis to play and enjoyment, rather than framing as a mere training exercise. I mean, bro, what if you started the practice off like high school, like, I don't know, played a game, dodgeball, tag, some type of, exercise to get them moving. Because I mean, high school esports, you could train so much differently because you have so much more time after school. You know, from like 2 to 5 or 2 to 6 or whatever. Like you could do so many creative things. But I think maybe the problem is too, like, I don't think there's like a resource for students or teachers or like people to talk about these kinds of things. You know, I don't know. Although esports offer unique and perhaps counterintuitive setting to foster healthy psychological development and healthy behavior change, parents might be reluctant to support their children's esport involvement due to the negative stereotypes about video gamers, socially inept couch potatoes, and negative beliefs about esports. Yes. Also, I think it's maybe it's parents don't know what they don't know, right? Like they may have perceived something to be terrible or whatever, but they just don't have any experience in it. At the same time, what I'm thinking about too is like, I don't know. I don't know if you grew up in a small town. I consider Hawaii like kind of a small town, where the toxic mentality around sports, and if you don't do sports, you know, it's bad. Or like having too much pride. I'm thinking like varsity blues style sports, you know? Also that kind of thing. If it's interesting because if you have that attitude towards that type of activity in your town, how did it get there? Versus how did you form this thing on esports? Is it just because like that's something you don't like, or is that something you just don't understand? All right, parents play an important role in influencing and guiding youth's involvement in structured activities aimed at promoting positive adjustment and development. For example, in Nordic High School esports program, the majority of parents, 58, if I do my math correctly, that's more than half, whose children were involved either expressed no opinion, disagreed with, or actively discouraged their children's participation. Ouch. Without parental support, children may quit esports or engage in unstructured play, lacking many essential components seen in organized sport activities, including supervision, guidance from adult leaders, rules, and structured play and practice. The absence of these components have been associated with increased odds of health risk behaviors such as smoking, alcohol consumption, and worsened academic achievement among youth. Parental support likely plays a pivotal role in children's esport participation, representing a relatively unexplored research area dependent on parental attitudes towards esports. I guess, you know, it's really interesting. The thing that I'm thinking about too is like the word in my mind that comes up is like harm reduction. Like, for example, if your kids are going to go and play esports or be a gamer, how much better is it for them to talk to you about the behavior, to be excited about it, to learn from you about performance, to be in an environment with a coach and other players who are interested in the same thing? You know, it's structured versus letting them do it in secrecy or in their room by themselves, you know? I think a biggest thing is like, I'm not a parent, but I'm hoping if I was a parent, that if my kid was into something, I think the unlucky thing is that you have to also be kind of into it too. You know, for example, if they're into dance, like, listen, you're going to all the dance things. If they're in the piano, like, you're going to all the piano things. Like, if you get your kid into something, you gotta, like, also do the thing, you know? So if your kid's interested in esports, why not be interested in it? It's not that hard to learn either. I mean, I was talking to this panel, and they're talking, it was like it wasn't kind of gaming, it was kind of like gambling, but like one of the presenters told me something really interesting. He said like, for games and things that people don't know, the easiest way to start them gambling is just to tell them the object of the game and how to win, you know? And then I remember working at the UCE, I don't know, not UCEI, but it was like you know, all the California schools or colleges. And I remember talking to a parent or a group of parents who like, they didn't know anything about Valorant, but they're super stoked that their kids were playing on stage Valorant, you know? And so I was trying to explain them like the object of the game, and like it's very simple. There's like 3 ways to win. You plant the bomb, and the bomb goes boom. You defuse the bomb, or you kill everybody. Like that's the 3 ways to win, you know? And so after that, they kind of understand the premise, and then you explaining how each position or how each player tries to accomplish that goal to win the game, and then they could see, you know, them understanding it. I mean, I guess another example of that is, have you ever tried to teach someone who doesn't understand American football the scoring system in American football? Like you say, okay, the goal is to score as many points as you can. Okay, right. Okay, so to get the ball from one end of the field to the other, That's called a touchdown. That's worth 6 points. Yeah, okay. And then they can kick the ball after, and that's 1 point. So it'd be 7 points. But you can also go for 2 points. So instead of 7 points, you get 8 points. And also, if you kick the ball through the uprights when it's, instead of like, you know, going to the other side, you kick it through the thingies, that's 3 points. Like, wait, what? Yeah, and then, I mean, if you get tackled on the other side of the field when you have it, that's called a safety, that's 2 points. Like, wait, what? So it's kind of like that. But yo, if you can learn the rules and scoring system to American football, bro, you can learn the scoring and the rules to any esport. Let's be real. It's just, you just have to be patient and try to understand it versus like prejudging it. And I feel like that's a lot of people who don't understand video games or watch them. They don't see they're not curious enough about it, and instead just judge the behavior versus understanding the mechanics and what's happening and the object and stuff like that. So I think it's just an interest judgment thing versus a like capacity thing. You know what I mean? Because like I said, if you can understand bowling, if you can understand soccer, if you can understand football, if you can understand all these, like baseball, if you can sit down for a baseball game for 2 hours, you can watch a League of Legends game, you know, but it just takes a little bit of time and learning and interest if you want to. All right. Theory of planned behavior. This is what I need. All right. Theory of planned behavior is a framework that has been used to understand and predict behaviors according According to theory of planned behavior, an individual behavior is determined. Okay, this is the. Okay. The individual's behavior is determined by the individual's intention, which is influenced by the determinants of intention, the individual's attitude, perceived behavioral control, and subjective norms. The subjective norm pertains to the opinion of a specific reference group, spouse, family, coworkers, regarding a behavior, including whether they approve or disapprove of the behavior, and whether they themselves engage in it. Fair? Fair. Attitudes involve a mixture of the individual's belief about the experience of engaging in a specific behavior and its outcome. Positive attitudes are more likely to strengthen. Duh. Makes sense. You know what's really funny? I'm not gonna lie, like when you read these articles, like, oh man, this is a really big term. Oh, they're explaining something really simple in like really big words. PBC is an individual. Okay, PBC was Plan B. Theory plan here. No. Perceived behavior control is an individual's ability to exert control over behavior. You don't say. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. After reading these articles, one of my pet peeves is when they define the term using words in the term. Like, okay, I understand perceived behavior control, but control over behavior, like, come on, man. Perceived behavior control may be influenced by factors such as previous experience and social support. The determinants of intention impact the individual's intentions. And it's the word toward the behavior, which in turn impacts the behavior. The theory has been successful in explaining and preceding behaviors in a wide array of domains, such as physical activity, esports, and smoking. Okay, theory of planned behavior is grounded in the target behavior, which is influenced by the strength of an individual's intentions towards that behavior. Furthermore, theory of planned behavior posits that intentions are directly influenced by subjective norms. Grid. Intentions are directly influenced by subjective norms, and individuals' attitudes, and the degree of behavior control. However, individuals can be influenced by barriers such as limited time, financial constraints, inadequate skills, and a lack of resources, even if they have the intentions to make a change. Okay. Factors. I'd say limiting factors. All right. Furthermore, intentions toward a given behavior are also impacted by subjective norms and personal attitudes. Subjective norm attitudes and I know this one. This one. Planned behavior control. And planned behavior control are based on anticipated outcomes rather than the actual outcome. So now we're talking about perception, right? Damn. Perception is king, brothers and sisters. Than actual outcomes. Moreover, the attitudes towards behavior may change due to participation in the behavior. Overall, the model has been used to predict the better understand behaviors in several domains, including esports, exercise, and healthy diets. Okay, what does it say? All right, so this is the theory. Yo, what's up, Bon Bon? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Are you a parent? Are you fighting with your parents about esports and want them to help you do it? Maybe. All right, so this is the theory of planned behavior in a picture. They basically, the end is what you do, right? The behavior. Before this is the intention, but what affects it are these things. Makes sense? So what do you believe? Everyone else believes. The controls around you. Then perceptual. The norms, the attitudes, goes into your attentions. This is really interesting. In my flow ahead of charts to do, right? And then you have your intention, which makes your behavior, but your intention is also affected by what you believe you can do. Sick. I like this. I like this. Maybe I should have, like, made it bigger this entire time. All right. That's what she said. All right. 3 parents' beliefs and attitudes towards esports. Studies have explored attitudes towards different aspects of esports, such as participation, careers, and school competitions. That makes sense. Regarding esports school competitions, Cho et al. Found that parents were resistant and bewildered toward the incorporation of esports in the classroom. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Last year, I went to the California high school, like, championships. They had, Smash, and they had League, I saw. Bro, it was fantastic to see the parents sitting in the audience, and you could tell some parents had no idea what was going on. Some parents had a lot of idea going on, but at the same time, it was great to see them and celebrate their kids. You know what I mean? And it was funny because some of the parents were like, oh my God, what is happening? There's so many people here and everyone's cheering, like, what? And they had, like, it was really cute because not only did they have the players from high school, but also they also had the casters that are from high school. So it was like the college put it on, but all the high school kids were like doing it. It was super cute. If parents are encouraging grandiose attitudes in their kids rather than mere confidence, do you think that this is more helpful or harmful for esports, highly competitive environments? Well, I mean, that's a great question, Bon Bon, because essentially what you're asking is, like, what are the parents encouraging? Are they encouraging just the attitude, or they're just for the outward fake confidence, or do you think it's more like, is that bad? I think would be more helpful, right? For parents is to teach their kids how to be a competitor. May that be a good sport or a bad sport, how to train, how to see themselves. Because I think if you just focus on the outward grandiose attitudes, rather than mere confidence, like you're encouraging a behavior versus state of being, right? So how can you encourage your kids to be confident? How do you ground their confidence in something tangible? How do you ground their confidence in something real versus, like, you have to go out there and, like, put on big face and it's game day, So I think, honestly, parents have a really cool opportunity in a non-contact way to teach their kids skills to develop their sense of confidence that is grounded in something versus, like, you just got to go out there and fake it till you make it. You know what I mean? But I think that's with all, like, environments. I mean, the funny thing is they're already doing this. Some parents, I'd say most parents, like, if they're in, like, even like Little League Baseball, you see the kids with their parents or their dad or their mom, like, they're trying to, like, hype them up and stuff like that. So, I mean, why not put that into esports too? It's a great question. What do you think, man? Esport players had to negotiate with their parents to be allowed to participate in esports, often committing to dedicating time to homework to secure permission for participation. Bro, I mean, that's like, yeah, you can finish, when you finish your homework, you can go play. Similarly, a significant proportion of parents, 58, that's more than half, with children involved in high school esports in Scandinavia express either no opinion, 44%, disagreement, 7%, or actively discourage, 7%, their children's participation in high school esports programs. That's really interesting. I thought that Scandinavia would be more into esports because typically, in my experience, like, Europeans are a little more accepting. Thank you. Great reply. Anytime, Bonbon. Like I said, thanks for coming on YouTube. That's cool. As always, this is like a conversation. My ADHD is great, and the tangents are great. So if you want to bring me on a tangent and talk about something that's more important to you, that's what I want to do. I'm just reading. So if there's other things that you want to discuss, just hop in the chat and let me know. All right. Okay, Wong et al. Supported this by highlighting that a considerable number of parents were hesitant and expressed negative attitudes towards their children's esport participation. This reluctance stemmed primarily from the belief that esports could detract time from See, I mean, here's the thing. This is true, but isn't that the same with traditional sports? Isn't that any activity that isn't school might take time away from it? But at the same time, what I think is really frustrating is that parents, maybe they haven't, I think it's basically they don't know how to encourage or manage or like know how to foster this in an activity that they are unfamiliar with. Like if this was maybe in Scandinavia handball, they would know how to, like, you know, monitor their kid or like shape their kid in this behavior. But because maybe it's esports and they don't understand what their kid is doing, that again, they don't know how to encourage their kid. I agree. Although some people seem so full of themselves, I can't be anything but jealous. It looks great, even though it's probably not good for them. That's true. But here's the thing. Even though, like, you have to wonder, right? If someone's so full of themselves, how strong foundationally is that full of themselves built off of or built upon? You know, because they could be just hot air and then it's rough. Or it could be just, I need to show this side of me, but really it's not like that. You know, so even though, you know, something that, I don't know, life has showed me is things aren't always as they seem. So if someone seems super confident, oftentimes they may not be, you know? Oh my God, my type of person. Yo, let's go. ADHDers, unite. All right. Esport players have themselves reported difficulty in balancing academics with esports. I think the other challenge with esports in general is that, like, you can play a lot longer than traditional sports just due to the nature of the thing. So it might be even more important for parents or people in general that do esports to be able to structure themselves or impose structure on their kid to make sure that they are able to do all the things that they're able to do and balance school. Well, when I think of grandiosity, I think of primarily psychopath grandiosity. Whoa. Bonbon, we were talking about a completely different set of people then. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if you're talking about, like, psychopaths, like, grandiosity, bro, we are talking about a very special population, and I'm talking about general pop, you know what I mean? But I mean, if you're a psychopath's level of grandiosity, it doesn't matter what anybody says because they don't need a source of confidence because that is their source themselves. You know what I mean? So whatever, which is very strong, but I don't know what's grounded. It's grounded in I'm a psychopath. Next question. Like, that's where it's grounded in. That enough said. The end. That's all I need. I believe this. Period. Full stop. AD's destroying me, dude. Task paralysis is brutal. I mean, if it is, just pick one task and make it smaller. That's it. And then, if you're having trouble completing that smaller piece, show yourself some grace. It's okay. You may not do it like the traditional bear, but that's all right as long as you get it done in your own style. So, you know, the most important thing if you have tasks is break them down to small pieces, slow down a little bit, and stop beating yourself up. You know, that's the most important part because the guilt and shame probably gets in your way instead of you actually doing the thing, you know? Me too. I do that all the time. Esports players themselves reported difficulties in balancing academics with esports. In addition, parents have discussed concerns about perceiving esports as insecure employment, a potential risk factor for video game addiction, and decreased mental and physical health. I mean, perceiving esports, right? This is the key. That's a crayon. This is the key word. Because you know what? Honestly, I think at the end of the day, I would hope that like parents want their kids to succeed. I hope parents aren't just like, you know, this perceive and this fear, right? Comes from a good place. I think and I hope parents want their kids to succeed, for them to be happy, to be more successful, to not live with them forever, you know? And so I can understand the worry that parents might have if their kids participate in esports. At the same time, it's kind of like, if I'm afraid that my kid's going to do this in esports and these things are going to happen to them, right? They're not going to have a job, they get addicted, or they decrease their physical mental health. Then I think the thing that's really interesting is how come if parents actually were worried about these things, they could actually monitor their kids doing the esports so these things don't happen. But because they're afraid of it, I'm going to avoid it. And if I avoid it, these things are more likely to happen. In my opinion. So it might just be doing it. Other contributing factors to parents' resistance might be the novelty of esports, with parents being unfamiliar with esports and its distinction from video gaming. Yes. Yes. These are two very different activities, in my opinion. Video gaming and esports. Like, esports is, for me, it would be like Little League. It would be like traditional sports with competition, structure, coaches, practices, scrims, like working out, eating well. Like that's true esports. But when you think about gaming, it's just for fun. It's casual. It's like with your friends. There's no structure. There's no coach. There's no leadership. There's no guidance. But I think parents, when they see it, it's hard for them to differentiate if this person is playing like constructively versus just playing to play. It'd be kind of like mixing up playing for your school and playing pickup basketball at the park. It's easier to tell which one you're doing because one you have uniforms, one is like sanctioned, and the other one's the park. But parents can't understand the difference between I'm playing League of Legends or Valorant with my team at school, and I'm playing Valorant, League of Legends by myself, solo queue in my own home. I think kids should be more proactive in explaining it to their parents and how they could, for example, translate careers at some point to reassure the parents. I mean, I like that, Bon. I like that. At the same time, what I'm thinking about is like, okay, do you remember trying to convince your mom or your dad about how this thing was cool, or like how it's okay for you to go out for this team or do the thing that they didn't want to do, and you're trying to convince them, and at the end of the day what they tell you is like, but I'm your dad, but I'm your mom, and this ego you, like, sure, I think so. I think, I'll agree with you that I think like self-advocation is really important for kids too, to like kind of like talk with their parents. At the same time, I did try to sell my mom one time on a Scholastic school fair book about something, and she said no. You know what I mean? Like, I really wanted that book, and I was trying to really sell her on how I need this book on Hot Wheels, and didn't get it, you know? Esports types could translate into other media careers, etc. Since esports scene is more established in East Asia, I wonder if that sort of culture makes esports career more standard and acceptable to parents. I would say anywhere but the US. I think that Europe has a structure and a system. It's kind of more accepted. East Asia for sure, Korea, not Japan, kind of China, you know, but you have to be really good. I think Korea understands it the best of the East, like the countries. Southeast Asia maybe, but it's more mobile stuff, you know. So I agree with you though. There's a lot of careers that people can go into with esports, but here's the thing: since anything can go into esports and it's not so structured, it's really hard to kind of sell it unless you have like the direct, I want to be a caster, or I want to do graphics, or I want to do like marketing. It's easier for parents to see versus like, I want to be a player. How many players are there? You know what I mean? Due to these perceptions, many parents might be unsupportive toward their children pursuing career in esports. However, research has shown that the resistance from parents towards esports participation decreases when esports players become successful. You don't say! What? You don't say. That's funny, though. But, I mean, that's really important to know. That's really important to know. But here's the thing. I wouldn't say that this isn't just an esports thing. I would say that this is like an anything thing, like with your parents, of course, right? Like, you know, mom, dad, I want to be a psychologist. Like, okay, why do you want to be a psychologist? Go be like a doctor, or like an engineer. Like, there's no jobs in psychology. No, but I really want to do it. And they go through schooling for it or whatever, it's really bad. And then like you finally get a job. I'm like, oh, my son's like a psychologist, you know, like, so I think that with unlucky with parents, this may be just the trend where, you know, at the same time, they're using their own personal experience, their own life knowledge to help project what they think your life is going to be as their kid, but what they understand and what they know is from their own context and time in life. And if they don't also understand what it is like now or where it might be in the future, like who knows where esports is going to go, it's hard for them to see because it's not a good path. It's not a commonly traveled path. You know, unlike a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, an accountant, a veterinarian, like that path is very well walked. There's a lot of people who do it. It's very easy to see where it's going to go. It's tangible versus esports is very new and novel. So the path isn't so clear. And if the path isn't so clear, it's kind of scary because it's the unknown. So you can't really fault parents for being upset or being concerned that their child is going to do the esport thing. At the same time, sucks. You make a lot of connections while doing esports, so I'd wager it'd make career transitions easier. Yes, but it's very unstable. It would be foolish of me to say that right now esports is a super stable career. It's not. And so even though there is a lot of ways in, there's also a lot of ways out. You know, so if you're interested in esports or whatever, my suggestion is thinking about something that you'd like to do and that you could do in esports. But if esports goes boom, you could still do that thing, you know, because sometimes esports goes boom, or, you know, sometimes you invest in crypto and it goes boom and then your org is gone, you know, so things like that. Similarly, more positive media coverage of esports may erode parents' negative attitudes and resistance to their children's participation. Sure. Although existing research provides insights into the extent of parental support for their children's esports participation and the relationship between parental support and children's esports participation. Oh, yeah, children's esports participation and the relationship between parental support. Okay. There needs to be a more detailed understanding of the factors influence these attitudes. Makes sense. Okay. Well, I thought I was going to finish this, but I think I could have finished this if I started on time. But then again, my ADHD prevented that. JK, I was sleeping. I woke up from a coma. Thus, my hair looks awesome. Dude, I don't know why. I've been so tired this week. It's weird. All right, subjective norms. Subjective norms regard different differential groups' opinions about the behavior. As the population of parents is broad, the following reference groups will be addressed briefly: the general public, the state, and/or sport organizations. Importantly, parents likely have other parents as reference groups, but as their attitudes towards esports were previously discussed, they will not be discussed in this section. Fine. Okay, whoa. Your hair is great. Thanks, man. You don't like this cowlick right here? Look at this little thing right here. It's like sticking out. Like, see it? Like right here? And the back's all jacked. But hey, you don't see the back. You don't see the back. Okay, the general public. When discussing esports, it is important to keep in mind that they are hardly distinguishable from from video games to the general population. You know, I really never thought about that. I've only kind of thought about it from the perspective of like a player, or if a player is trying to train in their game, right? Or trying to train in the game and they're playing solo queue. They take solo queue as a real game, whereas solo queue is not the real game, it's a version of the game. It's kind of like playing basketball or thinking you're training in basketball, but really you're just playing pickup basketball at 24-hour fitness. That's like the way I was thinking about it. But when I think about it from a parent perspective, yeah, if I don't know anything about gaming, it would be very difficult for me to distinguish, is someone actually training in something or are they just playing in something? You know, but at the same time, if a parent is having a really difficult time distinguishing that, I'm even thinking, is a player able to distinguish what they're doing when they're doing it, right? Because at the same time, there is no like, hey, this is how you train in esports versus, okay, you just got to play a lot. So I do agree. This is a barrier for sure, for sure. That's a really big barrier. Yep, that's true. Do you have any advice on developing secondary callous unemotional traits? What is that? I'm going to use deduction on what you just said. Or you know what? I can do this because we have the power of technology. What are primary and secondary callous unemotional traits? Two variants of callous unemotional traits and psychopathy have been... You are really into psychopaths, man. You are really into psychopaths. Or psychopathy. Bonbon, is this your area of expertise? Whereas primary variants are thought to be underpinning of by insufficient arousal to emotional cues, second variants are thought to develop as coping mechanisms in response to trauma exposure. So you're asking about how to develop proper coping mechanisms to trauma exposure. Is that what you're asking? Because the first one is talking about not responding appropriately to emotional cues. So you're asking how to recover from trauma. Is that... Well, you know, let's start this a short conversation by saying, not your therapist, right? Not your therapist. But when I'm thinking, I don't know the extent of the trauma. I don't know what happened to you, Bon Bon. I hope you're okay. But what I'm thinking about is go to therapy. And when you go to therapy... No, I don't have trauma. Okay. Okay, cool. But if you did, go to therapy. But if you're looking at coping strategies, it really depends on what type of coping strategies that you're looking for. So, like, what are you talking about? Like, what kind of coping strategies do you want? I just want to get the traits that I find admirable in... What? What traits do you find admirable in psychopaths? That's my next question. That's... Yeah, I'm not gonna say that I've never said that sentence before, but I've never seen that sentence written down. What? And that's where we'll end tonight's stream. What? What do you mean? I am head scratchy right now. I don't know what that means. Like, I mean, at the same time, the non-troll answer is like, if you want to... Maybe it's not having the trait of a psychopath or those... Like, it sounds like you want to be confident. It sounds like you want to reassure yourself to be confident. If I'm going from your first thing that you're saying. But if that's true, I think it all comes down to practice, right? Confidence is not a state of being, or it's a state of being. At the same time, we practice to reassure ourselves or make sure that we can get into that state of being by either finding our points of confidence, reaffirming where we're good, practicing to prove to ourselves that we can do these things. We build our skills. We build our skills, and our confidence is in our skills, and us seeing that we can demonstrate those skills either through knowledge or repetition or whatever. So confidence is not some. It could be a trait. All things do have a component of traits, but at the same time, if you take growth mindset perspective, all your traits or lack of traits can be expanded, built upon, grown with focus, intention, practice. So if there's those traits that you like, you just have to practice though being those things, doing those things, or finding moments where you are those things. That's it. Grandiose, lack of empathy, lack of remorse, low emotion. Okay, why do you want these things? These are really, it's like, I mean, these are very interesting things that you're saying. Like, why would you want, these type of things? That I think if you wanted those types of things, they may decrease your ability to live your best life. I mean, for example, the reason why psychopathy is in like DSM is because that's something we treat so you don't have these things. I don't know, like, why would you want these things? How would this help you in your life? That's my question. I have confidence problems ultimately. That's all I care about at the end of the day. I feel insecure. I think it's restricting my life. I don't do things because I'm afraid of negative reactions. So, I mean, how though is all these other things that you mentioned going to help you increase your confidence? Because I think if you actually got the things that you wanted, it'd make you actually less confident because you wouldn't have anyone around you. Unless you don't want anyone around you, and that's the goal, But if you actually did all these things, I don't think these things would make you not afraid of the negative reactions. It would just make you do those things. How would, for example, manipulativeness help you be less afraid of negative reactions? In fact, manipulativeness would actually give you negative reaction from people once they figured out you're manipulating them. So this is not, I don't understand the logic. It's not going to help you, for the thing that you want. Like, if you want to be less afraid of negative reactions, low remorse for the things you do would actually give you more negative reactions. So again, if you want to develop these skills, I don't think you should do those skills because they're going to give you the things that you don't want instead of the things that you want. That's confusing to me. You know what I mean? Oh, shit. All right. It wouldn't, but the manipulativeness would help me achieve different goals, money, power, etc. I mean, then you have to think about, true, but then we have to think about, does the grandiosity and impulsivity would protect against negative reactions? They wouldn't. I think if you want this first one, right? The greatest, go watch Scarface. Scarface was about the money and the power, and then you get the women, right? But at the end of the movie, were you truly happy with all those things? Sure, maybe, if that's all you wanted by yourself, or if you did do all this by manipulating people, would you actually know that the people around you have your back? Because at the end of the day, sure, it could be about money, it could be about power, it could be about women, but at the same time, from my experience, at the end of the day, it's often too, you could have all this stuff, but if you have no relationships, it doesn't matter. Because unlucky, humans are relational beings. So you could have all this stuff, but you have nobody, or you trust nobody, or no one's around you. Is it really worth it? So that's just a philosophical thing for you to think about, because you can become really callous. You can become really hard, but at the same time, is it worth like having no one around you? But that's a question that you can ask. For me, it'd be a no. That's not worth it. I think that really, I don't know, me, relationships are more important than all those other things, but it's really up to you and what you find, most important. Wait, why did this? I tried to develop bipolar 1's grandia by skipping sleep for a long. Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. I think you are trying to do things or trying to gain these skills But really, I think it's sitting down and thinking about how you can build a sense of confidence so it's not false grandiosity, but it's you being confident in yourself and what you can do for others. And that's true confidence. It's not grandiosity is fake. All the things that you want are fake. They're not real. That's why it's in the DSM. So I think it's going to be challenging and it's going to take some time. But at the same time, I think if you focused on, finding these points of confidence and really developing, it wouldn't be true. But you know what? Great conversation, Bon. That was really fun. So, if you want to learn more about me, I gotta pop to the meeting. Please visit my website, psychsensei.com. There you can find some resources. I try to drop content every single day on all the platforms, so follow me there wherever you want: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, all of it. And if not, I'll see you next week. Tuesday and Friday, I believe, is my time to stream, around 5 or 6. All right, friends. Well, please be safe, please be warm, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, Bon, for stopping by and talking. It's great. Hi, friends. Love you. Take it easy. Pieces.